Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft, and I'm mocking, giving you our views, our thoughts, and opinions. And we're going back in the DeLorean, taking a look at my first way too early mock draft. So, yeah, that ought to be a lot of fun. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Special thanks to DIYOJ for the jersey. Matter of fact, hold up. I'm gonna let y'all get a good look at that sucker. Look at that. I even remind you to subscribe on the back. I gotta bend over too much for that, so that ain't happening. But this is a fresh jersey, and you can get yourself a custom-made jersey when you go to DIYOJ.com. Links in the description. Use promo code BROSHMO10, and it'll get you 10% off. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker. Matter of fact, hey, this old video, I got my underdog fantasy sponsor going. So, hey, if you like underdog fantasy, promo code BROSHMO. But the Seahawks, they're number one. Right. You got to imagine they're going with one of the quarterbacks. All right, real quick. This was like the Vegas betting odds prior to the 2023 season. So, yeah, just want to make that known that, yeah, we used to think the Seahawks were picking number one. That or Atlanta. Woof. Prospects, because I don't imagine Geno Smith or was it Drew Lock? When Geno Smith and Drew Lock
final answers, the end all be all. So I'm gonna go with my top quarterback prospect in Bryce Young.
Look at that. What happened? He was first overall. Yeah, Seahawks, they ain't look for the quarterback of the future. They got Geno for now, but yeah, no, Bryce Young got that right.
If
I don't think we really need to talk much about that.
Quarterback scenario, it's like, okay, we take two shots at the quarterback position, and we end up with two good quarterbacks. We take two shots.
Okay, here I'm trying to justify the Desmond Ridder. Why take a quarterback when you're at two, even if you have a little faith in Desmond Ridder?
At the quarterback, mind that. But this is a team that's had such a dog water pass rush for so long, and in a draft that is just filled with there's a lot of good pass rushers in this class. And I would say the pair of Will Anderson and Myles Murphy is better than this past season's pair of Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Man, Myles Murphy still ended edge 3 for me. By the way, yo, you see the mustache? You see the beard? The beard's just growing back, because for that I went just mustache. So I was growing my beard back, but I just had the mustache because Top Gun 2 came out and Miles Teller, sexy. It's the only reason, man. I feel like Miles Teller convinced a lot of people to get mustaches.
Oh no, maybe they're pretty comparable. I like this year's better, so
I must be sick. I'm drinking the OJ.
So Atlanta, I'm gonna go with a Will Anderson. It's kind of 1A, 1B for me.
Will Anderson ended up being the top defensive prospect taken. Maybe. Let's go ahead.
After that Utah game, expect that earlier parts of the season, he didn't look all that spectacular, but I think by the end we're gonna be talking about that cat as one of the first prospects off the board. But earlier part of the prospect with arrows just pointing up, but you gotta remember.
Oh, I'm talking about CJ
earlier
Stroud.
Parts of the talk about Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Trevor Lawrence. I don't think you're giving up on him just yet. You kind of gotta go with just the best talent on the board, which
it's Jalen Carter, right?
Myles Murphy's tempting here, because I know they just got Travon Walker. You gotta imagine maybe they keep Josh Allen. I think this year's his contract year or something like that. I think regardless, Jalen Carter is probably the call here. He's gonna be prospect number 3 for a lot of people, 3 or 4.
Until that draft cycle. Ugh. All right, let's jump to the Giants.
Going on the interior. Let's take a look at the roster. There's Fadokasi.
Okay, I'm only talking
he's fine. He's not the Hamilton. Actually makes a ton. Listen, I just assume if I said New York Jets, New York Giants. I just assume DJ's on the way out at this point. Let's go ahead, grab a quarterback.
Okay, fun fact. Say this. Listen, if the Giants were selecting 4, DJ's likely on the way out. That didn't happen. And now he got a 4-year deal, which granted might not necessarily be a 4-year deal. I think they could get out of it after like sorry, funny text. But I think they get out of it after 2 years.
Makes sense. We get the number 2 quarterback in this draft.
Oh, and CJ Stroud ended up being the number 2 quarterback. Look at that. I think a lot of people got this right in terms of who some of the top prospects were. I'm kind of more interested in where do I go from here?
I think that he's a good prospect. He got better as the year went on. So I don't think you have to force a quarterback. If we're picking 5, man, you got to believe quarterback's on the table for Houston, but I don't think you got to force it.
Because I only thought there were 2 big ones. No, I think I still liked Tyler Van Dyke at this point, too. Hopefully he has a good bounce back year.
I think arguably the top 5 prospects in this class are Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, CJ Stroud, and Miles Murphy. And pass rush has been something. It's kind of been a struggle.
I mean, Miles Murphy still ended up being a first rounder. All right, let's jump to the Jets. Oh, I do my little... Hey, guys, if you didn't know, go ahead, subscribe. And then I got this stupid little nitty-gritty joke there.
Let's go ahead, get back to the nitty-gritty. And then the New York Jets, obviously with the Mekhi Becton news, the unfortunate setback. They bring in Dwayne Brown, but he's really just a Band-Aid. You got to really start looking at the future of that position. I'm telling you, by the end of the year, I think we're going to have 1 or 2 offensive tackles that we consider top 10. It's just, we might not see it right now just because I think the bulk of the guys, like your Broderick Jones, who's only played 4 games at tackle there at Georgia,
first round,
or Paris Johnson, who hasn't played any games at tackle for Ohio State, mainly played guard last year. Just those guys, a lot of people are going to be like, we prefer to see it before we believe it. I think one of those guys are going to emerge. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Broderick Jones. I'm a big fan of his. I think he was my number 1 offensive tackle. You can go check that out. I did my rankings not too long ago. The Washington football team, man, this one's always an interesting one. It's like I thought about quarterback, but like I really feel like they're like financially they're just so invested in Carson Wentz at this point.
They're not. Dang, I took Broderick Jones. Okay. That's interesting. All right, well, who do I take for Washington?
I really think they need better, just more quarterback talent. I imagine if they're picking at 7, there's going to be an overhaul to the coaching staff, but I don't know.
Not yet.
Keely Ringo is my top cornerback.
Talk about the fall from Gase. Oh, they did add Eric Benamy, but yeah, Keely Ringo, man, falling to the 4th. Wow. But to be fair, I think by the end of the year, he was prospect 60 for me, so midday 2. So yeah, he kind of falls out of the first round. Didn't have that breakout season like many anticipated.
I think he's far away the top corner in this class. And let me go ahead.
Didn't end up being the case.
Adjust. Oh, and now we got the Detroit Lions.
Oh,
all right.
I'm definitely taking a quarterback here. I know I'm taking a quarterback here. For the first 5 to 6 weeks of the season, I was like, yo, they got to figure out something other than Goff, and then he turned it around.
Quarterback would make a ton of sense here. If you're sitting here at 8, then I think it's kind of let's see who makes it, because you got to believe that Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, they're not going to make it out of the top 5.
They didn't.
So you're going to kind of be stuck with 1 or 2, hopefully, if we don't see a very quarterback hungry top 5. We did see that back in was it 2021? It was Trevor Lawrence.
Get to the pick, dude.
I don't know. You get to pick that 3rd quarterback. I guess have your pick of who you think it is. I'm going to go with Tyler Van Dyke. As a Hurricanes fan, I'm just hoping for the best. And
he knows.
Here we go. Tyler Van Dyke.
Hoping for the best.
former high
Hurricanes
school
will let you
pitcher.
down.
He could throw at a lot of different angles.
Yeah, Tyler Van Dyke didn't have an ideal season, unfortunately. Maybe he bounces back this year. Go to the Bears.
Very vertical passing yards down the field, over back. You got 2 picks in this draft. Why not? Chicago Bears. I've been screaming, hey, just get Justin Fields some weapons. Now that there's questions on the offensive line about, I guess, Tevin Jenkins. They're not a fan of him anymore. So it's like, oh, they could very well go tackle. It's like, you know what? Screw that. Let's stick with the plan of getting him weapons. And I'm going to go with Keyshawn Boutte. I'm a fan of the Boutte. So
what, Boutte don't go to like the 5th or 6th round to the Patriots? What a fall from grace. Let me see the comment. Like, what do I comment about this?
they get a playmaker
It used to be.
in Keyshawn Boutte. I like that. I like that very much.
Oh,
So Carolina.
come on,
Panthers.
elaborate.
Man, this one's tough too. Cause
Look at that. Not the
one
finest.
way or another, they're gonna find out Baker's.
Not the finest, like, 3 picks in a row. One ends up a 4th, one returns to school, and the other ends up like a 5th or 6th rounder. I
They're
can't
aware
remember.
Sam Darnold's not the guy, but Baker, is he the guy? I mean, they
Baker
didn't
ain't the
spend a
guy.
lot to get him. Well, granted the contract, ton.
Okay. Enough about Baker, bud.
So maybe they just go with the best player available. Oh,
Who is that, bud?
for me, I think the Panthers, at least defensively, if we look at the defense, because offense, of course, they got a ton of questions. But defensively, having a consistent pass rush has always been kind of an issue.
Don't
You'd be
take
like,
Andre
"What?
Carter, bud."
Oh, like Hassan Reddick, he kind of lit it on fire last year. And like Brian Burns has been this consistent. I don't know. That's where you stop. He's been consistent. Like, okay, let's go look at how Brian Burns has done. Because, hey, straight up, I'm a big fan of Brian Burns. But he really hasn't had that breakout season yet, if we're going to be honest.
Well, you could tell,
maybe-
dude, I'm sick, man. I'm way more scatterbrained than normal.
Maybe get his house a
All right, who'd you get him?
people love it. I'm a huge fan, so we'll see. But maybe getting some little extra help what would work out well. And I think that you could go here with Andre Carter.
Dang.
A guy who's got
Dang, the fall from grace.
ridiculous
Scroll
length,
back up.
ridiculous weight. One is like
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Now I got my mouse here. 4th round. Return to school. 5th or 6th round. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. UDFA. To be fair, he got a lot of guaranteed money, though. How'd you pick for my
a
Dolphins?
very top tier challenge. 50 pressures in it, and never the wrong answer. I will say that. My Miami Dolphins. This is actually their pick via San Francisco. I really think after doing like San Francisco's video, it's like I feel like they're gonna be a much better team, especially better than the Cardinals. But this is what happened anyway.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh. I said after my deep dive video, I was like, man, I got the Niners way too low. I don't know why I have the Cardinals so far up. Oh, golly, bud.
Anyway, so Miami gets to pick. The Dolphins get to forfeit their draft pick. I am a Dolphins fan, by the way. I correct.
Who you getting for the Dolphins?
Well, Michael Mayer. There's Eric Gilbert, but I think Mayer
Eric Gilbert
with
returns
his
to
ability
school.
as a blocker.
Transfers to Nebraska.
Also, he didn't sit out for personal reasons, for whatever they may be. It's just there's a little more consistency with Michael Mayer. We know what he could do as a pass catcher, so we know how
So I go
important
Michael
that
Mayer. He goes
is in a
second
Mike
round.
McDaniel.
Yo, come on. Let's get back to a 1st round pick, dude. I was
Which
on a
those
roll.
are fine. We're talent. Oh, going with the next corner
Who's the
on
next
my
corner?
board would actually be Cam Smith.
Oh,
Guy that's just a
Thank goodness.
freaking ball hawk.
All right, at least he had 2nd round. I thought I was about to say Eli Ricks. I was like, no, another UDFA. I suck.
He's got a very
So I go with Cam Smith to the Steelers.
Jigba. Makes two.
Oh, I took a receiver.
Slot receivers.
Hey, I nailed it. Minnesota took a receiver. I just took JSN. JSN ends up being the first receiver off the board. In this, he ends up being receiver 2 to Keyshawn Butte. Golly, dude.
In college football, other receiver out. Should know this. He's a former Hurricane. We know Adam Thielen. He's getting a room. Would go a long way. I kind of like that.
Come on, talk Patriots.
All right, on to the New England Patriots.
Oh, they ended up picking 14 this year too.
Of different things here, right? We could go with corner back help, though. It's like this is a team that really hasn't. I would say really hasn't invested in quarterback help in quite some time.
You can hear how hoarse my voice is.
Could do. I really think tackle is going to be an area they could go. Because Isaiah Wynn's a free agent. Trent Brown. Like I said, I really do think there's going to be like a top like the 2 tackles are probably go in the top 10. I really think that
almost
at least
2 in the top 11
capable of that. So I'm going to go with Paris Johnson.
There we go.
Big fan of Paris.
We back on our grind. Back-to-back first-round picks. New England actually does go with corner. All right, this is Houston Texans. What are you doing?
AR-15.
Oh, I took AR-15. Look at that. He ends up in the first round too. Just goes way higher. And he goes to the AFC South. All right.
Swinging in for
we got to be doing Peter Skoronski for the Titans. It's too obvious.
Dolphins, we get to forfeit our pick. Yay. But here we are with the Tennessee Titans.
Has to be
I think going with the offensive line makes a ton of sense. Peter Skoronski, whether you see him as this is going to be the thing with him. Does the NFL see him as a guard or a tackle? It's like, we've seen guys with arm length succeed on the outside. Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Jonah Williams. I don't know. For some teams, that's going to be like a make or break thing. Also, you could say his skill set is more of an interior guy. The guy did come in as a top center recruit.
So insightful.
And really only played left tackle because of necessity, because Rashawn Slater opted out. So, I don't know. I think he's still going to be in that top 15, top 20 vicinity. And actually, for a team like Tennessee, that you're starting to see this offensive line really decline, would be a huge help. Because, let's be serious. The engine to your offense is Derrick Henry. So
I love
looking good. So let's go ahead and take Peter Skoronski.
Yeah, I took Peter Skoronski. We're back on a roll with first round picks. And I got that pick right. Gotta love it. Raiders.
Here for 10. Man, that's such a tough one. Las Vegas Raiders. Honestly, I was trying to think what is something what would be something Bill Belichick would do. I know it's Josh McDaniels. I don't know if he would really if he feels good enough about the offense. I don't think he'd really force an offensive pick here. And he might just go with a very talented player to add to that defense. So I think Brian Brazzi. Let me make sure I got that name right. Brazzi. There we go. I think would be a good addition there on the interior.
He's a first round
Raiders. Oh man, the talent! You just can't pass up on that talent. Honestly, he could have gone a few picks earlier, but I just don't think you could pass up on it at that
going
point.
At 29.
This is one of 2 Philadelphia Eagles picks, and I'm going to use this first one, to address the edge position.
The edge,
because.
Nolan Smith?
For one, future here for him, and then dog ears. So I think we could go with the edge position. And the next guy on my board, Isaiah Foskey.
I scroll right past Nolan Smith. Foskey ends up being a second rounder, so not too far off.
I think he's I don't know. We'll see this year.
It has to be
Notre Dame. Notre Dame it's kind of walking what they
is.
ask him to do, but quarterback rooms in all of football. So we're gonna go with Eli Ricks. Some people like
good
Ricks.
UDFA.
Some people don't.
Good UDFA. Good and UDFA.
You do you. All right. We're back, dude. We're back to the Eagles, and you know what? I could see why a lot of people like to put Bijan here for the Eagles.
Do I do it?
But I think instead I'm going to go with my top safety prospect.
Branch. Goes in the second round, though.
Where's he at? Is he my top? Oh, this is all wonky. They got Garrett Williams. There's a safety. Did they list him as a corner? Anyway, I'm going to be going with, here we go, Brian Branch.
I like Brian Branch.
There's going to be questions, is he really just this guy that can play in the nickel? I think from his skill set, he's actually a guy that can be very versatile. I think he's a very wonderful athlete with a good secondary. Is huge. So,
Colts.
Your picks, I think, makes sense. And I'm not going to lie, I think the Bijan pick makes a little sense. All right. We got the Indianapolis Colts. And you know what? This team has been missing the speed of T.Y. Hilton. They've been really missing that that
Addison?
capability, like a guy that can be this vertical threat speed-wise, or a guy that can literally just run away from coverage underneath. So I like the idea. I know they brought in Alec Pierce. I know that they got Michael Pittman. But I think just adding more to that, you go for it. And I'm going to go with Jermaine Burton, a guy I'm really high on. I think he's going to explode.
I forgot he did not explode off the scene. He was good for like 2 games and then kind of ghosted the rest of the season. Oh, I forgot. He returned to school, so maybe he gets back into the conversation. Transferred from Georgia, but he did not explode on the scene. I thought that pick was Jordan Addison.
This was a no-brainer. And I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson.
Go Bijan with the Ravens. That makes sense. I mean, JK and Gus, they're free agents after the season. I think the only guy that they had, they re-signed Justice Hill in the offseason. And I don't recall if they drafted anybody. Actually, let's go look at that. I'm kind of curious now. Ravens depth chart. Oh, that's right. They brought in my boy Keaton Mitchell out of ECU. I don't know. They also brought in Owen Wright. Is that I think that's the cat from. It's like they're like Fort Valley State. No, Monmouth. Okay. That was close.
Listen, the running game is a huge JK.
I'm still talking about the Ravens
as well, but Bijan, I think we're here. I think Bijan's
still
first round, because if it's me personally, I probably won't do it. But
still talking Bijan.
Here I scrolled too far down. There we go. So now we're here with their second pick, and they are kind of moving more towards this 3-4. And
nice attack.
Really, last season, I think it was. I'm trying to think specifically who was the run stuffer at nose tackle, and who was supposed to be the pass rusher at nose. I'm pretty sure Al Woods was the run stuffer for this defense at nose tackle last year. Let me just confirm.
I believe.
Regardless, our pick here is going to be Siaki Ika.
Siaki Ika, not Sika Ika. Siaki ends up going to the 3rd round. So, okay, not so bad, I would say, thus far. I don't think it's been... I had that run of crap, but it's been all right.
Brian Moan. There in the middle. I like the idea.
All right,
figure out
Dallas Cowboys.
I think I got last year. I think I got their pick right. I said Tyler. I'm pretty sure this is the one where I said Tyler Smith.
I did get that pick.
I can't remember. I mean, you could.
I did, and then eventually I got Mozzie Smith correct. So I don't think Mozzie Smith was in my final predictive mock. I bailed out at the last second.
Always go back and quote me on that. coverage linebackers there on the squad.
Trenton
Jabril
Simpson.
Cox
He
kind of
ends up going in
hoping,
the
but
third.
still, we haven't seen it yet because of the injury. So, and this might be a little weird because it feels like that they have a bunch of pass rush. I mean, they have Aiden Hutchinson. They have guys like Julian and Romeo Akawara.
Neither guy
They
did
have
well.
Charles Harris.
Gone.
But I don't know, man. I feel like if you could always improve the pass rush, go for it. And I feel like we're kind of in a position right there where it's like, okay, forget having a bunch of guys that probably can do it well. Can we just get like dominant pass rushers in here across from Aiden Hutchinson?
Where you getting, bud?
Because like Charles Harris, I imagine isn't that guy.
He's not.
Like he's been doing well, but I just imagine he isn't that guy. So I'm gonna go with Felix
Who ends up being a first rounder?
Enudike Uzama.
Uzama. Ends up being a first rounder.
And of course, let me go check the pronunciation of that.
No, you're good. You nailed it.
For Kansas State. He's consistent in his pressures per game, but it's like and I ended up going with Antonio Johnson.
Ends up falling to the
Whether
fifth.
it's safety, slot, or even there on the outside at corner, I think he's capable of playing it. He's got a very diverse, maybe over Eli Apple. I think it's just good value. Kansas City, this one I'm rolling the dice on.
Who you rolling?
And I'm gonna go with Eric Gilbert. I'm gonna get
Well, that dice did not get rolled well.
phenomenal receiving tight end.
Dude, returned to school, transferred to Nebraska. I don't think we're going to see him. Maybe he might still end up in the day 2 area, perhaps, depending on how he performs. But man, oh man.
Because how old is Travis Kelce? And kind of like padding your future, if you will. But then we got the Buffalo Bills. If you're not new to the channel, you know I'm not a huge Tremaine Johnson fan or Tremaine Edmonds fan.
Yeah, and then he comes out, has a contract year, and ends up getting paid big by Chicago.
So,
who am I going then with
I'm going to
here?
go ahead and get his replacement.
Don't say it's Noah Sewell.
Sewell. I think he will become more of a he will be better at wrapping the ball carrier up
he
this
doesn't.
year.
He in fact doesn't.
The dude just has that hit stick mentality, so I think he cleans up as a tackler this year. I really do.
Doesn't.
All right,
doesn't.
on to the Green Bay Packers. This one's so hard because it's like, oh, they should go receiver, but
Yo,
when
I
do the
liked
Packers
Quentin
ever like to
Johnston,
help out
right?
Aaron Rodgers? But you know what? Like, if I'm being honest, like Quentin Johnson, like Johnston, kind of a similar player to Devontae Adams. It like stylized. Like, well, obviously we're not comparing talents. Devontae Adams.
There you
is
go.
like a
Reel
league of his
back.
own.
Reel back a little bit.
Stylized,
Don't dig a hole.
Kind of a similar player, and I love how dominant.
All right.
Said, I'm gonna make you feel small by comparing Allen. Actually, how old is Keenan Allen? Actually, Keenan. Hey, it's not bad. So, I don't know, man. They got Geitz in there, but I think adding Jordan Addison's not
They did
bad
add a
option
receiver. They did add a receiver.
here at the
Addison
tail
did
end
end
of the
up going in the
first.
first round.
I mean,
Yo, let's see if I can end this off by taking a first round prospect to Tampa Bay, who did not win the Super Bowl, by the way.
where else am I really going? Like, Sewell and honestly Simpson are the only ones right now I'd be willing to take in the first round. So it's like, oh, let's hold off. Let's wait till we see some guys emerge or take that next step up. I think looking on the interior maybe for some guys isn't a bad idea either, because guys like Jaquelin Roy, I don't think Roy's a good fit for Brandon Staley's system. Gervin Dexter would definitely is a consideration.
No, I'm still talking about the. Still talking about.
I don't think is it. Let's go with Tanner McKee, dude.
No,
big fan of Tanner McKee.
Look at this.
So
I love Tanner McKee to a fault. No,
that's my mock draft. We will see it soon. Here it is. So yeah, you let me know what you think
I think
in
it was
the comment
it was
section
all right.
below.
It was okay.
I know you guys like being critical of my picks. I don't think there's much to complain about here.
Oh,
I think
you
it's
just
a
wait till
fine
we
looking
get to the end of
draft.
The draft process.
I don't know. You let me know in the comment section below. But
So yeah, I ended up taking a couple of guys that ended up being UDFAs, Eli Ricks and Andre Carter. I think I took 3 guys that ended up returning to school. And honestly, though, I think I had more first round / top 40, top 50 picks than you would expect. So it was all right. It was all right. It is what it is. But I mean, for the most part, the first 6 picks, they were all picked within the first top 14 this year. We saw Bijan, we saw Felix Uzama. So I mean, you can tell a little bit. You can tell who will be in the first round.
that's it for the. I think there's.
Let's look at the back end here. Like, we basically had the receivers right outside of that random Jermaine Burton shot. We got this pick right. We knew where the Chargers ended up going. Will Levis didn't go in my first round. I'm a prophet. I got the quarterbacks outside of Tanner McKee right. Tyler Van Dyke obviously went back to school somehow. And obviously the corner position kind of switched up. That was probably the biggest difference, I think. We saw, that and like the 2 linebackers that I initially had. One ended up being like, a 5th or 6th, the other a 3rd. And Campbell was the only one picked inside the top 65. And yeah, the whole cornerback thing just shifted up. Ended up being Forbes, who I think I had a day 2 grade on. Witherspoon, who I didn't get around to till late. Or until like early in the season. Who else? Gonzalez, who I got to, I think, right after this. Deontay Banks, who I was late to as well. Everyone else started pumping him up. I think it was a Mel Kiper mock draft I saw. And was like, I guess I gotta check this dude out. I was like, I'm not completely sold. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what did you think of it? I thought it was all right. It is what it is. For the most part, only a couple of guys were UDFAs. Lol. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.